Let's use our two hands to reach out a hand to someone, to anyone who needs support, and join together to overcome the stigma around mental illness. Thank you for listening.
Mr. Short, I must say I was a bit surprised to see you on my calendar for today. It's been since 2019. So what brings you in?
I have this lack of focus, per se, I feel like. But it's almost not. It's like too much focus. Like I focus too much on my business. I think that's the main issue is just the focus. Me realizing that sometimes I'm so focused on what I want to do so bad for my business that I just kind of miss out on life in general. Because I'm just so narrow-minded with that, so tunnel vision with that everything else kind of just passes by and I don't realize it until it's gone, you know what I mean?
So the theme I'm hearing from you is balance. And you feel like you're not keeping that in balance with other life events and appreciating everything that is around you in life. And if not seeing the trees for the forest.
Everything is so serious for me. Like everything is like, I wake up, I gotta get this money, or I gotta get this, this shoot booked, or I gotta get this and that. I think that I'm losing focus on like just living life, you know what I mean? Like having fun, just enjoying what life has to offer. And I think sometimes it just slips. What about life? What about people around me? You know what I mean? Like, am I affecting them, in a good way or in a bad way? Like, what am I doing to interact or inspire? Obviously, I'm doing what I do with my business, so that alone inspires. But as far as who I am as a person, right? Like, is that inspiring? Is that doing something?
What inspires you?
So for me, the main thing is the youth, right? I care about the kids a lot. I think because a lot of things that I didn't have when I was little, growing up, I want to make sure that the kids or the youth around me can, achieve that and receive that from me or people around me. They are what the world will be. And I think the things that I didn't have growing up, the things that I lacked, the people that I lacked, I want to be able to do the opposite for the people around me, for the youth around me, for the kids around me. And so I think the relationships that I have with them, regardless of the work that I do for them, the relationships that I have with them is very vital to me and very important. Going from colleges to colleges, playing basketball, to graduating with a degree, which I think a lot of people didn't think I'd be able to do because it took a long time, but I was able to get that. And at the same time, during COVID, during the pandemic, I was able to start a business. Sometimes I don't show enough gratitude towards myself about that, just because I'm so like, I can do it. I know I can do it, so I'm not worried about it. You guys think it's a surprise to you, but to me, that's just hard work. That's just what you do. So then I just move on. I don't really show enough gratitude towards myself for doing something like that,
Okay, so what would you say your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is something that we all say that we don't really care about. We all say that we don't really care about, what other people think, care about what people say. I think that every person has a small piece in them that cares about something that someone thinks or say. For me, I don't really care about what people think as far as my business, how I've started, where I'm at, the decisions I make with my business. But I do care about what people think about my character, because I think that right there is important to me. If you know me, then you know how I am. And if you don't, if you assume, then that's like, now I'm kind of like, don't think that's not who I am. Don't listen to them. It's almost like I want to prove to people who I am. I shouldn't have to do that. That's not the right way to go about it, but that's like the mindset that I have, you know what I mean? If that makes sense.
So where do we go from here? What's next for Mr. Short?
I think where I go from here is changing my focus, not more so just on what's in front of me, focusing on people that's around me, focusing on, the things that matter, not more so just business, shoots, bookings, money, whatever, right? I think being able to focus on life and enjoying life and taking on what comes and being able to look at that straight in the face.
Yeah. So you're in videography, right? So maybe working on, instead of zooming in, panning out.
Life is a word we unconsciously take for granted every single day. Sometimes we hold our standards so high that we forget about life. We constantly compare and contrast this false narrative of what life should be because of our visual perspective everywhere else. Life should not be what we see. It should be what we want. What makes me happy. You happy. Life happens though. Through the good and the bad, life just happens. Now, I'll be the first to admit it sucks a lot sometimes. And everybody goes through something. Not one person's something holds more weight than the next person's. Life is short. Life is a long process, but it's short. But how do we respond to the bad? How do we respond to the criticism? But also, how do we respond to the good? How do we respond to the praise? That determines who we are, not who we want to be. Because quite frankly, we all want to be, quote, this person, this role model, this success story, this example, this guideline, this embodiment of a leader. But who are we really? Who are you really? Response determines who you are. So what do? Respond correctly.